In the final video of lesson 9, I'm going to give you the answer to question C. Let's go ahead and try to look at some graph features to help us graph. And that was the whole point of this lesson, using graph features. How can we graph a quadratic? All right, first thing, let's find our zeros. I went ahead and distributed that 5. I already know that because it's positive, it's going to go upward. But I want to distribute it just so it would be easier for me to get my zeros, my intercept. And when I do the math, x is going to be equal to positive 2, and x is going to be equal to positive 3. So I have my two ordered pairs there. Now I have to find my axis of symmetry. And you know from the shortcut, we can just add our x values together. 3 plus 2 makes 5, divide that by 2, and that should give us a 2.5. There we go, x is 2.5. You can always, use the difference of values and count the distance, but it's just a lot faster to add the x values together and divide it by 2. All right, now that we have our x, we can find our vertex by replacing this for the x value and finding the y value. So I'm going to go back to my original equation. There you see me write it. And every time I see an x, I'm going to substitute that with a 2.5. That is the x value. And now what we're doing is we're basically just solving for y. What would y be when x is 2.5? And my y value is negative 1.25. So there I have my vertex, 2.5 and negative 1.25. And I know because this is going upward that that's going to be my minimum point on the graph. So everything, all the other points are going to be above it. So my domain is going to be all real values, and my range is going to start at the negative 1.25 and go up to positive infinity. I also have two intervals that you can see there. But what I didn't talk about in other videos that I want to talk about in this video is your y-intercept. So I'm not going to touch intervals, and I'm going to talk about y-intercept. Y-intercept happens when x equals 0. Some quadratics will not have a y-intercept, but a lot will. And so what do you do when that happens? Well, just substitute x for 0, just like we did to find the y for the vertex. You can do the same to find the y-intercept. Whenever x is 0, what would y be? In this case, we find that y is going to be a positive 30. So if we keep drawing this line up, it's going to eventually cross the y-intercept. And I went ahead and did that in decimals. Here you see my intercepts. I'm going to go up, and there you see the y-intercept is 0.30.